Here is Henry Burris on his retirement news conference at Lansdowne. Let's go there live now.
Not only for this organization, but for the city of Ottawa. I'm here to announce that, I'm stepping away from the game of football. But for me, this is only the end of one chapter and the beginning of another. I'm taking up the head of the nomination for the Redblack Party. I feel like Barack Obama right now. But no, Trevor is not Donald Trump, so don't even think that, okay? But honestly, the reason why, I say things like that, because for me, this is more of a celebration than anything. Because just over 3 years ago, when we all came together with that first press conference, and, myself, my family, we all came to, start new roots here in such a great city. The one thing we promised our faithful here was we were here to win a Grey Cup. And the fact that we delivered in such a short period of time in only 3 years is something that's, just unheard of. But, it goes to the hard work that, I attribute to the sacrifices that my family made first and foremost, but to the men and women that stand up here with me right now and that are here in this room. I mean, without you all, none of this would be possible, but even more importantly, the fans. I mean, from that first season in 2014 where, I think probably 3/4 of the team, we had to change diapers on a daily basis because, most of the people still thought that Toronto was the nation's capital here. And they didn't know that Ottawa was the nation's capital. And a lot of guys didn't know that there was only 3 downs in the CFL game. But we found a way to grow people in the right direction. And we found a way to overcome all of our odds and put something together. But throughout it all, our fans still turned out for us. And for me, being here in Ottawa to finish up my career, to me, it's been one of the most amazing experiences that anybody could ever ask for. First and foremost, to be blessed to play 20 years, to have a chance to, take not only my wife, but my 2 handsome sons on a journey to see the world through this game called football and to make friends that we'll always have forever. I do have to say that Calgary, Hamilton, and Saskatchewan all prepared me for this journey because, when we went into those markets there to help build, something special, those teams were struggling at the time. But the organizations put together a right game plan and got the right guys in place. And we went out in the community and started to create roots where it's the most important. Because not only are we athletes on the field, we're also ambassadors in the community. Because I know for my legacy, I want to be known more for what I've done in the community, for the people's lives that I've impacted, for the people's lives that my family, for the people's lives that my teammates that we've all impacted, from Calgary, Saskatchewan, Hamilton, and now here. Because as we see in the world today, this world is not all about love the way it used to be. But the people that can help shed love are the athletes. Us as ambassadors, we need to take that up on our shoulders even more and more. And I know myself, like I say, I might be taking off the pads, but the work shall still continue. And that's something that I've learned from so many great people and players that I've played underneath, personnel, coaches, and just friends that I've made in every given community that I've had the opportunity to be a part of. And that's why I say this is a celebration. Because those friendships, the relationships that have been built, no matter if it's in Saskatchewan where people booed me, but off the field they offered me a Pilsner, even in Hamilton, all the great relationships that I have there. For me, let the party begin. And I know for me, that first time I see my teammates on the sideline, and I won't be out there with them, those will be the hard parts. I can understand that. But for me, looking forward to the future and having an opportunity to, beat my wife in golf on a daily basis like I always do. And, here in about 5 or 6 years, I'll have the opportunity to still show my kids, who's the boss in the house when it comes to being the best athlete. And so I'm thankful to be one of the only few people, like I said, to play this game until I'm 40, 41 years old. But even more importantly, I'm coming off the field still with my health. And I know for me, I told my wife throughout the course of last year when I took several hits in certain games, I was like, man, these hits are feeling a lot harder now. These guys are getting younger, stronger and stronger, and faster. And throughout the course of the season, in my mind, I knew it was my final year. Because for me, God was on my side. And I had teammates and people that have been on my side. I've had great resources that have been on my side. I've had a league that's been on my side since day one. If it wasn't for the CFL, I wouldn't have had this opportunity to come and continually share my gift. And not only the gift on the field, but the gift that my father taught me is to have 2 hands, one to work hard with and the other to give. And I'm thankful for that. And, for me to be sitting here today, inside I'm definitely, dealing with a lot of emotions. I mean, we've all been getting sick around the house because I haven't been getting any sleep. Nicole hasn't been getting any sleep. We've been keeping our kids up. Well, they've been keeping us up, chasing us to different hockey rinks all over the world. And, some we think we're playing in a barn, but it's actually a hockey rink in a barn. And we have no idea how they got a rink in a barn, but this is what our life has turned into now. Thanks, Canada. And, but you know what? We love it. And this is one thing, when I met this beautiful woman here to my right, I told her that, I want to show you the world with this game. And, honestly, when, we were in Chicago playing and I went to NFL Europe and she came over for 2 weeks and I was going to propose to her in Barcelona, Spain, on the beach there following our game. And what happened? I tear cartilage. I guess big moments, my cartilage just doesn't like it. I mean, first in Barcelona proposed and now in the Grey Cup. But throughout it all, I was able to carry through in the end and deliver my promise. And I'm very thankful that here in the end, I'm able to sit here and walk off the field on my own 2 feet and still be able to invest time at home. But even more importantly, I'm still calling Ottawa home, a place that when we came here, this city embraced my family and I, and the organization here, the community, the people here are just first class in every angle and every area of this given city. There's never been a city I could call home and feel more comfortable in saying that. And I'm truly thankful that Mayor Jim Watson, Bernie Ash, all of our owners from Mr. Jeff Hunt, Mr. John Ruddy, the list goes on and on. I can sit here and call out so many names, from Marcel Desjardins, Brock Sunderland, that first call that Brock and my agent had saying, if I'm going to take this position, Henry's got to be our quarterback. And here I am. And, sitting down with Brock Marcel and Jeff Hunt and getting the deal done, after I was released in Hamilton. Things happen for a reason in life. And to all the kids out there, no matter when somebody tells you that you can't do something, hard work will show that you can. And I preach that to my kids. And even though I'm a guy who's thrown for over 63,000 yards, they want to go to Carlton's camp to learn how to throw. So that shows you what it feels like and what I'm looking forward to overcoming. So, without any further ado, let's keep this celebration going. And I'm looking forward to continually making this place home and helping out people in the community and continually doing what I can to help out the Redblack brand and, continually making this the best place to play in football. Thank you.
Third all-time in CFL passing, third in TDs, a couple of MOPs, a couple of Grey Cup MVPs, a bunch of rings. Henry Burris. You said something there that as the season went on, you felt like it was your last year. So are you telling us, when you stood on that stage holding the Grey Cup above your head, did you know it was over?
Well, you always have that 10%, 15% in you that's holding on because, for me, dealing with all the frustrations of last year, having the injury and things like that, and just trying to get in rhythm and honestly, with all the things I did here last offseason, spending time with my family, and even when I was, not playing, just the joy that I experienced when I was with my family at home and just all the great things we were able to do. And sometimes when I was able to come home and instead of watching film, I was like, you know what, let's go play a round of golf. That was pretty fun, you know what I mean? Because I hadn't played a round of golf hardly in the summer in over 20 years now. And, the thing is, I married this woman just almost 13 years ago. And, I got a soon-to-be 11 and 8-year-old. And, it's time for us to get back to being a family again. And I guess, for me to be selfish, I could have said, hey, let's do one more year. But, when it came down to it, the most important values for me were my family first and the future being second. Because for me, it wasn't a time for me to take a step back. It was time for me to continually move forward and seize the moment for the opportunities that are there. And with all the opportunities, when we looked at our options, there was no way I could pass that opportunity up.
But a couple of quick hypotheticals. Let's say either that knee had prevented you from playing the game or that you'd lost that game in overtime. Knowing the competitor you are, might the decision have been different?
You know what? There could have been so many different scenarios that could have possessed themselves, and even me coming back to be the starter, different things. But honestly, at the end of the day, there's only one team that I'm ready to spend the most time with right now, and it's these other 6 eyes that are right here with me. And for me, I've always talked about how important home is. I mean, as important as our locker room is and the guys that are in there, I know I've got friends for life in the front office, within our administration, within our locker room. I got friends for life. These guys taught me everything from you know, to being a great man, to knowing what IPA stood for. I did not know what IPA was, but it's actually not a bad beer for a wine drinker. But the thing is, for me, you know, it's all about investing time at home. And of course, as tough as it's going to be to see these colors on the field and not be out there with them, I know for me, you know, it'll be tough, and there'll be emotions when that time does come. But for me, right now, it's all about the future and what the future holds. And you know, I'm looking forward to cheering this team on and being a fan of the CFL in itself and just all of football and cheering on the two professionals remaining in our house, being our sons. And for me right now, that's where my head is focused on and trying to make the future even brighter for my family now.
You promised today you wouldn't be emotional. You said no tears, Duthie, no tears.
None.
But what will you miss most?
You know what, the camaraderie. When we talk about the locker room being a sanctuary, it truly is a sanctuary. I mean, you know, for me, being around these guys, the guys seeing Brad in his rookie year, you know, when he came out to play quarterback, to seeing that first day he had to play wide receiver because we were short at receivers in Calgary, and he started lighting up every defensive back that we had, and it was crazy because he had to play against those same defensive backs in the Grey Cup, and you know, just to see guys who came into this league that I've developed amazing friendships with, you know, from this guy right here, number 30, killing us all the time when he was with Saskatchewan and sending them to the Cup over us in West Finals, and now having a chance to win a championship with him. You know, guys like Jermichael Dean, John Gott, you know, Mr. Hopkins up here, from all the times that guys like him and Zach Evans were trying to sack me. And
Henry Burris, what a story.
Neither one of them got
Talking
me,
to some guy
close.
from Gloucester.
Told him, keep trying, young man.
That's James Duthie, and what a Canadian experience for an American who has become adopted by this country and this city. Henry Burris retiring. Terry Marcotte is down there, and he will have an interview later in this hour with Henry Burris, perhaps one of the best athletes we've seen in this city in a very long time. You can vote now on our quick poll. We want to know, do you wish Henry Burris would play another year with the Ottawa Redblacks? Log on to our website at ottawa.ctvnews.ca.